Hello, everybody. This is Corporal Kindel returning to another playlist. This is my third playlist. By the way, I hope everybody had a great holiday. This place it is December 30th. I hope you all had a great Christmas, Hanukkah, or whatever your holidays were this past week. Had a lot of good Christmas food. I got a new game for Christmas. It is called They Are Billions, and I am taking a break from. I just finished my second playlist on Dominions 5 as Niflheim on Impossible. Unfortunately, I lost against 15 AI, but that is an excellent game. It's a turn-based game, so I'm now 1 for 1 on my two playlists that I play. I won against Stars in Shadow, and I lost to Dominions 5, and this is my third playlist. This is actually this is not a turn-based game. I am pretty much a turn-based strategy player. Those are the games that I really prefer. I mean, 90% of the time I like playing those. I do occasionally play some RTS, and I have even been known to play, even though I'm not at all a fan of what I call hand-eye coordination games, first-person shooters. I have been known to buy, especially RTSs. There are some pretty good RTS games out there that I've purchased in the past. For example, Europa Universalis. I played that. I played one called Age of Mythology, which is pretty good. Maybe about that came out, what I want to say, 12-ish years ago, 12, 15 years ago. Distant Stars is a 4X RTS game, and I took a chance on this game. I didn't just buy it out of the blue. I saw a video. I saw it in the upcoming games that are coming out, and I watched a couple of videos, and it looked pretty good. It looked intriguing, so I decided to take the plunge and purchase it. It is in EA early access on Steam. It's available for I got it for $22. And it's still on sale for $22. I think it's a 10% off sale. It's normally $24. Got it for $22 on Steam. So I think the sale still goes out to January 4th. Right now it's 12/30. It's December 30th right now. So I am going to be doing another gameplay tutorial. It's not strictly a tutorial. It's actually a gameplay, but I'm going to spend probably a lot of the first opening episodes doing a lot of tutorial. So that's pretty much the style that I've been used for my first. This is only my third YouTube playlist. I've actually done 56 plus 27. I've actually done over 70-ish episodes, but only two playlists. Each playlist is on a different game. I plan on going back to Dominions. I wanted to do another one on Dominions as a different nation. I lost as Niflheim, and I don't want to talk too much about it since it's a different game, but I basically got massacred, or I got rushed early in the game, year 6, and I wanted to do another playlist on Dominions as another nation, a little bit more magic, and I'm going to do that. I'll do that after this particular game. I've been playing this now for a weekish since December 26th. I got it either Christmas or around the 25th, so I've been massively playing this game for 5, 6, 7 days now. It's unbelievably addictive. It's probably the most addictive game that I played in the past 10-ish years. It's an incredibly cool game. For those of you that are out there that are like me, that are turn-based players, there may be some of you that just completely are sworn off of turn-based game, won't play any other kind of game. I would highly recommend you to at least try this game. If you play no other RTS game, at least give this one a go. I mean, it's only $22. This is incredibly addictive. I mean, it is probably one of the most enjoyable RTS games I've ever played. It's easily one of the 10 best RTS. I can tell you right now, RTS games that I've ever played. I really like this one. Even though it's an early access, I haven't had any problems at all. In fact, it's been very stable. There haven't been any game crashes or any weird or wonky things. There's one map available in the early, but it's randomly it recreates as a random map every time based on that one type of map. So you'll always get a new map every time, even though it's the one type of map with certain terrain features on it. And it's a good map. It's very enjoyable. I like it. Now I wanted to. This is actually. I actually created my first episode of this game already. They are billions. But when I went back to watch it before editing, I had some. Oh God, it really pissed me off. There were some problems with the first 20 minutes or so. Just didn't work. I mean, the audio came out well, but for some reason, the video did not show up correctly in the first 20-ish minutes. And that's what this is. Right now, this is just going to be a snippet that I'm doing right now because I'm going to overwrite the first 20 minutes of that episode. What I think happened was I'm using OBS to record this. And what I do is I use OBS, which is an open broadcasting software. It's a free online thing software that you can use for recording games, among other things. And I normally do my editing in Adobe CC. I got Premiere Pro, which is, a top-of-the-line video, and it's got other stuff, Illustrator. I got it mostly for Illustrator, so I can create websites and artwork for a game. I'm actually working on a game some games I eventually want to do a Kickstarter project on. I love games. I mean, it's just me. I've always been a game player my whole life, and I really like games, and I'm actually going to jump in and try to design my own. Anyway, so for some reason, there was a conflict, but it was only with this intro screen right here. Once I actually started the game, when I went to generated the map and started the game, all of a sudden it worked really, really well. I mean, it was well, but I don't know what happened. For some reason, this intro stuff, which I have set up in Winnowize mode, it may have been that. I actually tried to do another snippet to overwrite that in full screen mode. I had the same problem, so I came to the conclusion it's just this intro screen that's having a conflict with OBS, and for some reason it's just not. When I click on the stuff, it's not showing up. There's an unbelievable lag, and in some cases it's not showing up at all. But like I said, it changes when I start the game. So what I'm gonna do is this section that I'm doing now is gonna overwrite the first 20 minutes and from all the way up to right when I do the start game. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now. And what I'm doing right now is I'm not gonna click on all these things because this is what I ran into problems with. I'll click on it because normally when I do a tutorial introduction, I like to do the whole thing, which includes all these setup things right here. The new survival game continues, scores, options, help, credits, and exit the desktop. Well, I can't click on any of these things because, again, I'm having a problem. There's a lag. There's too much of a lag between what I'm clicking on and what my voice is saying for unknown reasons. So I'm not going to be able to click on any of these things. So I'm just going to explain what they are. New survival game. That's basically generate a game. You click on that, and then there'll be another menu, another option open it'll ask you for your where you want to set the difficulty and to choose the map. There's only one map choice, and there's like 5 levels of difficulty. I actually started in the default, which is 100%, which is actually the 4th high. It's the second from the highest level, and I actually went down to the 3rd level, which is really the medium level, and I played 5 games. I haven't won one, but I did actually make it to turn 93, or I should say day 93. The victory conditions of this game are simple. You win 100 days to survive, you win. I actually made it to day 93, and that was when the final zombie and ungodly, unholy horde of zombie. And when they said they are built, it was I mean, it was literally all I saw was the floods, and there must have been tens of thousands. I mean, so I couldn't even count them. I mean, it looked like a massive ant hill of freaking zombies overflowing on the map, and I got absolutely overwhelmed. But I made it that far, so I feel pretty good for that was actually my fourth game that I actually made it to turn 93. The fifth game I blew it and I lost on turn 50-something. So this is actually my sixth game. So again, the new survival game, the options, continue. It always overwrites the same save file, similar to Dominions 5. It works the same way, so I want to make sure that I do this right. I'm not going to be continuing right now because I'm just doing the intro right now. The scores, it'll show your top scores. I'm not sure how it's right now. It's just showing the 5. I would like to click on it, but again, I can't because of the problem. Options is going to give you your stuff on graphics and everything else. There's an option under graphics, sound, and other stuff. Under the graphics, there's a checkbox for windowed mode. I use that a lot because when I'm creating episodes for OBS, I need to switch to windowed mode in order to access the start and stop recording in order to record these episodes. So that's why I have to switch to at the beginning and the end of the episode to switch from window mode to full screen mode. So normally I'm doing all the gameplay and everything in full screen mode. It's only when I end the episode that I have to switch to windowed mode in order to access the stop recording and the stop recording at the beginning of the episodes. And help. The help contest right now, if you click on that, it gives you some information, the features of the game, the different buildings and stuff like that. It's not really, the help menu isn't, I want to say it's not incredibly detailed. It gives you like roughly a half a paragraph on each of the buildings and things. And then the credits of people that designed the game. And, of course, exit to desktop. Exit to desktop. It'll automatically save. So you click exit, it'll save and then exit to the desktop. Get that far. And we'll see if I do that. So now I'm going to start the game. And here we go. We are starting the game. It takes a little bit, just like any other game, it takes a little time to generate the new map. So we are generating the map. Here we go, the new map. Okay, so let's see, come on. All right, so here we go. It's going to zoom in on your main, and I am immediately going to hit pause. See this down here where the gears are going? If the gears are going, that means the game is running. I hit the space bar, it pauses. You can also click on this. You click on this green arrow to pause or continue. I'm just getting the habit of my hand is near the keyboard at all times, and I use that to do the pause. It's day 0, hour 0. Like I said, you make it to if you can survive to day 100, you win. And this is where it's showing the map right here. I'm using my mouse is a roller in the center, so I can scroll out and scroll in. So you can see this shows you what you're seeing on the screen. If I zoom down. So the map is pretty big. I mean, it goes out to here, out to here. I mean, sometimes according to one guy that I was watching, he said that in the course of the game, you will get 10 zombie hordes. Of course, the 10th one is the epic finale of which is they are billions, and it is an unholy swarm hitting you from every direction. Again, and this is and I made that on this by decreasing the challenge. I don't see how you could defeat that horde, but I have been able to at least defeat all the other hordes. So each one of them ramps up in difficulty. The first one will hit you roughly around day 16. I want to say 14 to 16. The second one around 25-ish. There, each multiple of like in the teens, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you'll get hit by a different horde, and each one will get tougher and bigger as they go on, and they will get hard. And of course, there are some that are just slow-moving zombies walking around. So you start with this. This is your command center. Again, if the zombies destroy it, you lose. That's your auto lose. And this is the stuff that it generates right here. Defensive barriers. It's got 2,500 strength, so that's kind of like its armor rating. But like I said, if you get 100 zombies, it probably takes about 5 seconds. To that defensive is like nothing. If they get to your it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. It's generating 200 a turn. Amount of gold the building generates. I think is it 200 a... Oh, for God's sake. I think the way it works is in an 8-year period. I mean, sorry, did I say 8 years? 8 hours. 8 hours. So in other words, 200 in an 8-hour period. 2 for 600 in a day. 24. So that's just your starting basic gold income. There are all other ways to get gold. Again, gold is important in this game, but it's much easier to generate gold in this game than it is in the other games. It's a couple of ways you generate gold. One is with your main building right here. Another is when you build huts. Your colonist huts, which are your main things that you're going to generate people with. They come in huts. The huts generate colonists and gold. Those are the two primary things they do. Of course, in order to get more huts, you only have a certain amount before you start needing food and energy. So in order to get more people, more huts, i.e. generate more people, you need to get more food and energy. Food mostly. A hut, I think, only requires one energy. One energy is that much, but some of the other buildings need more energy. So energy is important in this game too. So that's where the gold income is. And then right here we got workers supply. It starts with 10. It's got a total of 10. I think 10 workers that this building provides by default. Okay, we got the game. This building supplies 20 food. So you're starting off with a little bit of extra resources. Basically, is what the command center provides. And it supplies 30 energy before you start using. So you can see down here 30. Food production. It's using up. It supplies 20. But this one guy is this guy's a soldier. And these other 4, or we start with their archers. A soldier actually takes up a food. That's why it's 19 and not 20. A soldier eats up a food. For some reason, archers don't, but they're weaker. They are weaker, but like I said, not having to eat up a food is a good thing. Very good thing. They're also faster, but the soldier is much stronger. I will talk about their exact statistics in a minute, so you have an idea. What else do we got? Okay, attack rate. Go back to the building. Food supply, energy supply. So what do we got? Energy transfer radius. Okay, so this has got a 10 square radius. I don't know if you can see it, but this map, there's a square grid overlaying this map. They don't really show it, but they are squares. You can kind of see it. I don't think there is a grid option in this game where you can put the grid. Usually I like turning those on, but it's not really needed so much in this game. You'll see it when you start putting buildings down. But anyway, it goes out 10 radius, this energy, for God's sake, energy transfer radius. So it's 10 squares. It goes in this, let me zoom out. It goes out 10 squares, and that's the radius you start building other buildings. So I can't build a building out in this black area until I build a building called a Tesla Tower, which expands the rating. It's under energy. So these right here is your build menu option of buildings that you can build. But anyway, let me finish this off. Storage expanded. You can store up to 50 units. I believe it's a little bit more for gold, and its view range is 12. So that's how far it sees. It sees out 12 hexes. It supplies an energy to 10, and its storage, it can go up to 50. So, for example, if I start collecting wood and it goes over 50 wood, then I start losing the wood over 50. So You want to. There are ways to increase the storage. By there's a thing called a warehouse, which will increase your storage of stuff. Obviously you don't want to. In the interest of efficiency, you generally don't want to waste wood or gold. Gold is much more. I'm not sure how much. Oh, maximum storage 2,000. If you see the thing right here, it says gold 193. Production is 193. It's really 200, but there's like I said, there's upkeep for some of these units. There's a gold upkeep for some of these units. I think what is the gold upkeep for the blah 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 for this? Let's see, workers. See this guy? He's the soldier. He needs one food right here. Workers. He takes out one worker. Gold cost is 3. Okay, so that's his upkeep cost. Compare that to the this, it's only 1 for them. So we got 4 of these archers, which are taking -1. So 4 minus 1 is -4, and it's -3 for him. So that's -7, and that's why I'm getting 193 instead of 200 because the 7 is in the upkeep cost of my 5 units that I start the game with: the soldier and four archers. It's always good to have an idea of how this stuff works. So when I'm down here, this is showing your supplies of stuff. It'll off to the side. It'll say plus wood. I'm not gathering any wood because I haven't been able to mill yet. I'm not gathering any stone. I'm not gathering any iron, and I'm not gathering any ore. So it's all blank down here. The only thing I'm gathering is my 193 that's coming from my initial starting. So it's really 200 minus the 7 upkeep for those things. So what do we got? Colonists. There are no extra. There's no colonists produced by the south. And we got 5 workers available. The five workers available because why are there 5? The thing supplies 10 workers, but each one of these guys that I have on the map take a worker. See, there's 1 in red, so they're all 1 worker. So that's why my initial supply of 10 workers is reduced by 5 because 5 of them are soldiers. And that's why I've only got 5 left over here. And then what do we got down here? 19. I talked about the food production. This is the quantity that's available. That'll show down here. And then there's energy production. Because energy is not something that you harvest. You got to build a building that creates an energy building. Unlike these other things, you get harvest. All these other things, lumber, stone, iron, and oil. You have to build a like a sawmill or forgot what to say, a stone quarry or an oil. You aren't going to be able to build an oil thing until later in the game. Okay, I mentioned that in the outset that there are four qualities that I look at. One that is easy. Okay, the research in this game is really easy. There are only 3 buildings in this game that you can build that'll do research. The first building is a wood. What's it called? Well, let's go to the building. If you click on your command center, it'll show you it shows you buildings you can build by types. This first thing is your energy buildings. And it's showing you an energy, what is it? What do you call it? I can't zoom in right now, but that's what it is, energy. These are your energy buildings. These are your resource gathering buildings, which is going to be your sawmills, your quarries, and your food gather, your hunters' lodge, and things like that. Colonists, those are for building your colony, for building new dwellings for your colony. That's how you get new people. Like I said, you need food to get people, though, so you're going to be limited by how many new colonists you get, but new colonists generate money and colonists, so it's good to get a lot of colonists. Industry and trade. Okay, these are like the buildings they're not the gathering type of factories. These are more like the overall industry buildings, like the warehouse, the bank, the market, stuff that enhances your other buildings. These are very, very important. For example, if you build a warehouse, and within all the buildings, all the gathering buildings that are within, I want to say 20 I'm not sure what the radius is. I'll look at the specific building. That are within its range will get a 30% bonus. So, for example, if you're producing, let's say you're producing 12 wood from a sawmill, I think it's 30%. That sawmill will actually go up 30%. What's 30% of 12? 1 point. That's roughly 3. Call it 3. That sawmill will now get 15. I think it's 30%. We'll look at the exact building to be sure, but it does increase all the buildings out to a specific radius. It's not the game wide; it's just a certain radius. So you want to get as many of your production buildings within the radius of a warehouse to get as you can. And of course, that's hard to do because you don't know how the map is going to be laid out. They're not just going to all be lumped into one area, so it's kind of hard to do, but optimally, that's what you want to do if in a perfect world. And then down here, the next thing is military. Those are military buildings. It starts off with one military building one sub building within it. Remember, these are categories. So all the buildings are within it. I'm going to click one at a time in a minute. I'm just going over the categories right now. So that's the military category. And then we got the defense. The defense, these are like walls. Anything that's a fixed defense, as opposed to military. Military are mobile. Think of in this game, the military stuff is mobile things, whereas defense are fixed defenses, walls, and any of the things that you get during the game that go on the wall. Towers. There's actually like a Gatling gun in here, which is really, really, really cool. It's really expensive, but it's freaking cool. It's really, really expensive, though. But it is really cool. It really just mows down hordes of zombies. So let's take a look at each one of these things. So I'm looking at the categories right now. I'm going to click on the energy, and there are 2 buildings that I can buy. Right now they're grayed out or blacked out, as the case may be. That's because I don't have enough resources. See, if you look right here, the Tesla Tower, it takes 1 worker. You need 10 wood to build it and 200 gold. And it extends the energy range. So I mentioned that this building has a range of 10 that I can build buildings. Well, if I was to build this Tesla tower, say over here, that will extend the range another amount. And how much is the range? What is the range is it's 8. Okay, it'll extend it out another 8 hex or 8 square radius of which I can build structures. So that's the benefit of the Tesla. They're essential in this game. In order to keep expanding out and building more buildings and harvest everywhere, you got to have Tesla. You'll be seeing those a lot. And the other energy building is the mill. Think of the mill. It's not like a grain mill. It's like a power mill. Okay, it generates power. And like I said, eventually you're going to run out of energy. The mill generates energy. It generates energy and it costs 4 workers, 20 wood, 3. Again, it's just something you're going to have to build. You can't get around it. You need energy in this game. You're going to have to build them. Usually, I look down here when I start getting low. It's when I'm starting off at 30, so we're set for a while as far as energy. I won't have to worry about feather for a while. So those are the 2 that I have right now. And of course, when there are techs. There's an advanced mill that you can unlock later in the game that generates more energy. And there's actually a power plant that I think generates something like 150 power, which is it's a much better one than the other ones because it generates so much more. Of course, it's more expensive and everything. So those are the 2 types of energy buildings that I have available right now. So to go to the other building menu, we'll hit this arrow right here, and it shifts back to the main menu. So that's energy. We'll go to the resource. So these are the resources. You got 4 of them. Basically, there's 2 food and 2 other resources. One of them is a fisherman's cottage. There's a lot of lakes all around in the game. Fisherman's cottage, you'll build on the lakes to gather food. How much does it gather? Well, it depends on how much water is there. We'll look at that when I build one. I will build one shortly. And a hunter's cottage. In general, hunter's cottage can gather a little bit more from either woods or plains. See this? If I look at this map, this looks kind of like grassland, and over here it's kind of like Scrabble. I don't know what it's called. These aren't plains. They're more like Scrabble. I don't know what it's called. But this type of plains, it's greenish, are much better for farming. Later on in the game, you'll get farms which are really powerful in this game. Farms, but you can only really put them on these. If you put them over here, you won't get anything. So you got to put farms or plains, and there's not a whole lot of plains. I was sort of lucky that I have plains, but again, in the sense of farms. But then again, I'm also going to be building colonist huts here because that's all I got around. So I'm not really going to see the benefit of these plains as far as a farming goes because they're going to be full of colonist huts. I will see it though a little bit for the hunter's cottage because its plains are better than this Scrabble, and then woods are even better. And then the other two buildings are grayed out because I don't have enough gold, and this one requires wood and gold. This is the sawmill. Sawmill, just like it names, you build it next to woods and you start generating wood down here. And the other one is the quarry. It's not just a rock quarry. The mistake I made on the very first playing in this game, I thought it could only be used for stone. Actually, a quarry in this game, you can use them for all these other minerals except for oil. So you can use the stone. You can use it for stone, for iron, and for gold. You can find an occasional gold pile somewhere. You can build that one quarry; it'll gather it. So those are my resource gathering. And of course, your colonist huts. A tent. It starts off with a tent. There's actually 2 levels of upgrade. It'll go from a tent to I want to say a log hut, but that's not exactly the term. A cottage. It's a tent, a cottage, and a stone house. So it requires a tech upgrade to go from a tent to a cottage and a stone hut. A tent each tent generates eight gold right here, and it's got 4. You need 4 per house. And what are the number of people in the house? I think it's 2. Or is it 4? I think it supplies 4 colonists. It's 8. I know it's 8. It supplies 8 gold, and it needs 4 food per house. And I believe it's 4 colonists. The cottage, it generates 18 gold. You need 8 food, and I think that it goes up to it's either 6 or 8 colonists in a cottage, and then the stone house goes up to 40, and it requires 16 food, and I believe it goes up, I want to say 8, and maybe 8 or 12 colonists. I'm not sure. So there is an increase there in the amount of gold and colonists, and conversely, a lot more food that you need to use it. So you can see that the benefit of upgrading when you can. Also, if you put a bank radius over here, will increase that gold even more. So banks and markets are really good to have where you're building these huts. Okay, so that's the colonist huts. Now what do we got? Industry and trade. Okay, so right now there's only 2 buildings. Okay, there's the warehouse, which is really expensive. That's the one I was telling you about, the warehouse that will get 30%. Is it 30%? Oh, God, I keep wanting to say 30%. Warehouse, I want to say 30%. I am not exactly sure. Oh, what am I looking at? View range workers, researchers plus 50 expands the capacity, and it also increases the resource production. Okay, it says that it does increase the resource production of surrounding buildings. I think it's 30%, but don't quote me on that. It needs 8 workers, 8 energy, 40 wood, 40 stone, and 40. So it's really expensive, but it's a good building. It also increases your supply. So remember, right now we're starting off with 50 of most of these things, except for gold, which is 2,000. 50 of these other things will run out really, really quick. So a warehouse will increases that storage another 50, so we'll go up to 100. And what's the other building? The wood workshop. Okay, so this is the research building. So in order, the 3 research buildings, each of the other ones are unlocked by the other research building. So what that means is I have to build the wood workshop in order to get to the stone workshop, because the stone workshop is actually is researched from the next building. So in other words, I can't get all the advanced technologies right now. I have to build the wood workshop and actually put the wood workshop on the map. And when it's on the map and built, one of the options in the wood workshop will be a stone workshop. And then I have to research that and build the stone workshop and have that on the map in order to get to the what is it? The foundry? I believe the final one is called the foundry. The foundry is the one that unlocks the oil, and it unlocks the most powerful units in the game. There's a thing called the Thanatos, and it's like the one has like a rocket launcher. It's really freaking cool. It's like a guy with like a rocket launcher pack going around firing. He's had a really powerful ranger weapon, but the other one was like I think it's called a Titan or a Terminator. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's it's kind of like a mech, like a robot. I actually haven't built that yet. I know it exists. I have got to the Thanatos, and that one was really cool. There's another one that's a flamethrower also, but again, those are really powerful late game units. You won't get those until you get to the foundry, which is it's like it might as well be in the moon as far as the early game goes. So those are the 2 things that you have right now that are in the industrial and trade section. The next one is military. Okay, so there's only one military building at this level, and it's the Soldier Center. So it costs 8 workers. It takes 620 gold, and it costs $450. And early in the game, once you unlock it, you're only going to be able to build 2 types of units, which will be the 2 types of units I have here. So until I build a Soldier Center, I won't be able to get more combat units. So you want to keep that in mind. Do not lose these starting guys. I repeat, do not lose these starting guys. If you get attacked and you have no troop, you are dead. But this early in the game, you don't have to worry about a swarm, but you do have to worry about the wandering creeps in 1 and 2, because I have lost because when a damn creeper creeped in and got to where my colonist building was, and I will tell you, they get your first. If you got a bunch of huts and they get 1 hut, it is over, because that 1 hut, those 4 workers in the tent will become 4 zombies. And each one of those will hit the other. And before long, it's a cascading effect. And it only takes like a few seconds, 5 to 10 seconds before your whole... Once they get to your worker huts, it is over. I mean, it's just absolutely over. You'll see this horrible cascade of infection going on. Okay, so that is those are the military. Like that one building is grayed out. Again, I'm lacking all the shown by red is what I lack. I lack 8 workers, 20 stone, and 40 gold. And what's the last thing? The defense. So we got buildings. I could to start the game off. I can build a wood wall, a wood gate, which is basically a wall with a gate in the middle, so you can walk through the wall. You're going to need both of those, and a wood tower. Towers are cool because if your guy is on a tower, he's got an increased range, and he also gets a defense of the tower. So they have to kill the tower before they actually start damaging your guy. So that's the advantage of a wood. And there's also stone upgrades later on. You have to research that through the stone. Stones are much better. Much, much, much better. They're really, really good. But this is all you have at the beginning of the game. Okay, so those are all the buildings. What else? We covered all this. We covered the radar map view. We covered the pause start screen. The only other things we have are this stuff over here. The command center. That automatically redirects you to the command center. Repair all. Okay, sometimes you'll have damage on your buildings when they attack. well, I have no damage, so it looks like this. But if I do have, it'll be green, and you can just click that, and it auto repairs. You don't have to send guys to repair; it'll just automatically repair. If they're not within, it'll automatically. I should rephrase that. It will automatically repair as long as there are no zombies within a certain. If they're too close, it won't automatically repair. So you might need to clear out. If you got some heavy damage, you might want to clear the zombies away from that area if you can, so that they can auto repair. But at least you don't have to send guys out to repair like you have to do in some games. Okay, then your mayors. Okay, you can have up to 4 mayors in this game, which give you global benefits, and they're really good. They will always give you 2 options, and you'll get them when you reach these milestones, this colony population. For example, I get 30 colonists, I'll get that fairly soon. You'll get your first mayor, and there'll be 2 options that you can choose from. The options are really situational. I don't know how to say some of the videos I watch, some guys will say that some are really good and some aren't. I look at them more as situational, as what you need at the moment. And the next one is at 200, 600, and 1,200. I've actually got to the one game I actually made it to 1,300 population. So I have seen all of the, I've had this whole thing filled out. So those are your mayors, and then the one in the bottom is your game menu. That's the same thing as escape key. So you can save and exit, go back to the game options. So that's everything. That's the whole interface right now. And we're kind of ready to start right now. I'm not going to build. So what I'm going to be doing is, the first thing I want to do is I want to get a little bit of the lay of the land. Oh, I did not talk about the stats of these guys, did I? So there's the combat unit stats. So right now he's got, this is your soldier. Let's zoom in as much as I can. That's as much as I can zoom in. So you can see this guy's a little bit different from these. These are rangers. They're weaker, but they are very fast. They got, I want to say do they have the same range? I'm not sure if they have the same exact range right now. I got a little thing that I got online, which is really good. We'll talk about these combat units before I go to start the game. So this is how it works. This guy's got 3 damage. So every damage it guns from it just subtracts 3. So that's he's going to take a little bit less damage from every hit. His speed, 2.4 per second. He can move 2.4 squares per second. Because remember, this is a chessboard-like over on this board. That's how fast he goes, which is kind of slow. Compare that to these things are 4. These things the Rangers are moving almost twice as fast, but again, they only have 1 armor. They have really crappy armor. 1, that's like, this guy had 3. He's got 3 times as much armor. Okay, attack range. Okay, so that's his range. His range is 5. Her range is actually 6. She actually got a little bit better range. But the real difference is going to be the damage. He does 15 per hit. She's doing 10, so 15 to 10, 1.5 times more damage because he's got a gun. He's got a gun. She's got either an arrow or a crossbow. Okay, what do we have right here? Attack speed. Okay, the speed. This is how much he attacks per second. The higher the attack speed is really means he's getting more of a rate of fire. If you look at attack speed, it's really kind of misleading. When you think of attack speed, it's not like it's how fast he's attacking in rate of fire. The higher the attack speed, the more of a rate of fire. It's kind of like a rifle versus having a bolt action rifle versus a semi-automatic or something like that. And what is her attack speed? Her attack speed is 1, 2. So he's actually attacking. He's attacking twice twice for every shot that she's making. He's doing 2. That's how you look at it. And what do we have? Attack speed, experience. Okay, so these guys can level up. There is only 1 level up to these guys, and we'll talk about that. That's called veterancy. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, what do we have here? View range. That's how far he can see. His is 6, the soldier, and theirs are 8. Because, well, they are scouts. So I'm going to be running around with these guys, not so much with him. He's going to be the firepower. And this other stuff I talked about, that's what they need. They each require 1 worker, regardless. The soldier will take 1 worker. He needs a food. She doesn't need a food, though. So that's a big advantage for the ranger, not having that extra food. Or not killing that. It is really, really... Don't underestimate that. I mean, this guy's probably got twice the combat effectiveness, but he also takes food. She doesn't. Remember, with food, I could be building other stuff, too. More buildings, more colonist huts. Expanding. I can expand with archers, you know, I can't... But he's going to not have a reduction by buying an arc, but a soldier will. Okay, and then what is it? The gold cost. He's also taking 3 gold. He's reducing my gold by 3. They're only reducing it by 1. So I'm inclined to go with archers early. I mean, early on, and even I don't know. Eventually, against the big swarms, they're not going to survive against really big swarms. These soldiers will just kill a lot more better. Zombies. Okay, so that is of course you pay a price for that, like I said, in the costs. So the veterancy benefits. Okay, the veterancy benefits, it's a 20% increase in damage and a 100% increase in the attack speed. So for a soldier, they go, remember the soldier was 15. When he becomes a veteran, he goes from 15 to 24. And he goes from a 2 attack speed to 2.5. So what is the damage? Look at it, the damage per second. The original soldier is 15 times 2. 15 times 2. He's doing 30 damage per second. That's how much damage he's doing per... As a veteran, he's doing 24 times 2.5, which is 60. 60 damage per second. So he's doubling the amount of damage per second that he does when he becomes a veteran. Okay, for these archers, the archers are going from 10 down here to 10 damage. What is it? They're going from 10 to 12 damage when they upgrade. 10 to 12, and they go from attack speed of 1 to 2. So the non-veterans are going from 10 times 1. They're generating 10 damage per second, right? Because 10 times 1 is 10. That's how much damage they're doing per second. But the other guy is 12 times 2 is 24 damage per second. So that's 2.4. 2.4 times the damage per second these rangers get when they're when they upgrade, which is very good. I mean, it's almost as good as this guy who's not a veteran, 30. The soldier 30 versus a veteran 24. 6 is not a whole lot of difference there. So that can show you that these guys getting upgraded, they become really, really good. They get more of a benefit to upgrading than these guys do. These guys are going from what? They're getting actually double. These guys are getting 2.4. So these guys are going up 200%. These guys are going up 240%. They get a little better. They're a bit better out of the thing. And by the way, there's another. I'm just going to mention it here. The sniper. There's a sniper that you can research relatively early. He goes from 10. He does 100 damage, but his speed is 0.45. Snipers they basically pick off one guy. They do unbelievable damage against one guy, but they're kind of slow at 0.45. Okay, 0.45. So how much damage is he doing? He's doing 100 times 0.45 is 45. He's doing 45 damage a second. He takes a long time to reload and reacquire. Now, when he goes up to, God sakes, and I set this at 100, unfreaking believable. I'm going to go a little bit over 50 minutes because I want to do a little bit of scouting instead of my first before I go to the one episode. This always happens on my first episode. I do a lot of explaining, but that's just how I do it. It's the way I do things. All right, I spend some time explaining. I mean, I hope that's okay. I have had some, a little bit of positive feedback on the thing, so I hope that's. Definitely had more positive than negative. Put it that way. So it's just the way I approach the games. Anyway, back to the sniper. So he's doing 100 damage, but his speed is 0.45. So he's going, 100 times 0.5 is 45 damage points per second. Now, when he becomes a veteran, he goes to he's going up to 110, and his speed goes up to 0.91. So what's 110 times 0.91? That's 100.1. So that's 100.1 damage per second. That is huge. So he's also being upgrading 100.1. Compare that to a veteran soldier. Go to 60. Almost another 2/3 amount of damage. So a sniper is really, really powerful. He is really shelling out, doing damage. And you can set him to pick out specific guys. For example, I haven't used these commands as much as I probably should. I have used the patrol. I can set this guy up to, for example, from where he's at, and I click patrol, and he'll keep moving on a patrol. I do use that, especially early in the game. Later on, when I have a lot of walls, what I do is I put guys in the towers on the walls. They don't have to worry about that. But early in the game, you're going to need a patrol. But you can also set these to, like, for example, it says target priority highest level. So that'll fire at the most powerful enemies. I'm going to talk about the enemies in a minute. When I scout and fight some zombies, then I'll talk about the enemies like I talked about them, because there's several different types of zombies, and I want to be able to show them before I talk about them. So these are basically a bunch of options that you can give to your soldiers or your guys to give, like target priorities highest level. That would be good for the sniper. He's shooting at the more powerful guys. It really doesn't matter so much, in my opinion, for the others. And then, of course, the patrol earlier. I've used that. Frankly, I haven't used these other things that much. One nice thing about this game is that's really important to me is where you move a guy, I want him to stop. There are other RTS games. I hate those games where the guys just continuously keep moving. Oh God, I hate that. They just sort of move, and they're like the momentum. This game is not like that. They will move and they'll stop where you move them. Conversely, if you stop your guys there and they get swarmed and you don't forget to move them away, they will shoot and die. So let's do a little bit of scouting. I want to lay down at least my first few builds before I end this episode, and I want to find some zombies. So what I'm going to do is I've been on pause this whole game. If you guys didn't know it, the game has not been running. I'm mainly gonna scout out with my scouts because they're faster. Remember, they're almost twice as fast. And I'm going to use my soldiers to kind of a little small area within a radius around my primary camp right here. But I need to see what the lay of the land is, so I have an idea of where I need to build my walls, where I need to defend, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to take my soldier, move him over here somewhere. I'm going to take two of these guys. I move them in groups of two. See, right now, these two are selected. They got a little green selection thing above them. By the way, the green bar is just a life. How much damage they got. How much damage they got is, it's actually view range, speed, attack range. I think they have 10. Do they have 10 damage points? You'd think that would be over here. Attack range, attack damage, attack speed, view range, and armor. Okay, they have a certain amount of hit points. I'm not sure how many hit points they have. I want to say 10. I'm not exactly sure. It reduces their armor is 1. As I said, it reduces 1 but they will die very quickly if they get swarmed. Anyway, okay, so let's scout out. I'm going to send 2 of these over here, and I'm going to try to select these other 2. The other 2, and I'm going to send them up here somewhere. Okay, now I am actually going to unpause it. So hit the space bar. Okay, and they are moving out a bit. See what we can see. Okay, they probably moved to where I want. Okay, what I did find right here, this funky looking pool right here, is an oil site. It's very good. You need that late game, but early game, nothing. It's not going to do you any good until a lot of the games I've lost. I never even. In fact, there's only been one game I actually built an oil plant. Unlike the other buildings, the oil refinery actually builds on top of the oil plant. It's weird. All the other buildings you actually put them next to everything, but in that one it actually goes on top, physically on top. So you want to keep that in mind. Every other gathering building goes next to something that you built. Okay, so let's send these guys out a little bit more. Send my soldier out a bit more. And we'll send these 2 guys out a bit more. So I'm just moving out to roughly where, and then I'm hitting pause. I am making very good use of my pause button. So what did these 2 guys find? What did we find down here? Nothing. As you can see, you can really see the difference between the 2 terrain types here. They're all open ground, but this is plains. This is much better for farms. That's really the only farms and any food gathering that this stuff is over here. Unfortunately, most of the map is like this. These are mountains, okay? You can't move over them. You can only go, you can't build on them, you can't do anything. But they provide, passes that they're easily defended and stuff like that. For example, right now, I'm kind of seeing a little gulf right here that I could probably build a wall and somewhere to build. There's a lake right here. There'll be a lot of lakes. Let's move him up here. Okay, so what did she find? She found, okay, right up here, we got a huge iron deposit. This is huge. I could probably put at least 2, maybe even 3 freaking quarries here to gather iron. You need iron to build soldiers. Soldiers need iron. Soldiers, snipers are going to need iron. So that's good. A huge deposit of those would be good. You probably use more stone, though. There's a lot more of the buildings use stone. So stone is really would be really better early in this game. Although it is very good having this iron, I'm not going to be building a lot of soldiers for a long time. A bigger stone deposit would be really nice, and I haven't seen too many stones. I do not want to be out of stone deposits. Okay, so we're up to hour 2. Let's scout out a little bit. We'll send him up a little bit more. We'll send these guys out a little bit more over here. And what did we find over here? Nothing. We got a lot of... okay, these are vultures. They're actually... they're just there for scenic purposes. They're not... These aren't zombies. They're the vultures. They fly around. Where do I want to go? Okay, there are actually a couple of goodie huts. Well, I don't know if I want to call them goodie huts, but they're goodie crates. If you could find them, they're really good. They'll be like something like 100 gold, 10 iron, 100 stone. If you could find them, they're pretty good. Okay, so let's search out a bit more. We will search and then stop. Okay, so I'm seeing another iron supply and a much larger stone supply over here. And meanwhile, I'm going to send my soldier back here. I want to keep him relatively close to the main camp, and I'm going to send these guys up here. Okay, so let's let it run a bit more and see what we got. So I'm hitting pause again. So that's how I'm doing it. I am going to hit pause and release pause very quick because I can't see what these guys are running to. Okay, these guys are about to run into some zombies. So let me talk. Let's see if I can see a bit more. I want to see if I can actually see a horde here. Let's move him up. Get him going down here. And where's my other 2 guys searching? Let's search over here. Okay, so let's do it. I'm hitting pause. Okay, and I'm hitting pause again. So we're up to hour 4. Hour 4. Okay, so we found. Now let's talk about our zombies. These guys ran into the. Wow, they ran into the ghost town. What I like to call the ghost town. Okay, so you're gonna over the map. You find these settlements, the dwellings of doom. Okay, I do not know if these spawn the dead. I imagine they probably do. I don't know. I don't know how the dead get spawned in this game. I'm assuming that they. I think I read from a forum somewhere that they don't start getting spawned until after the first rush, and that sometimes they'll come off from the edges of the map, like on these edges. So if you're down on an edge or something, that doesn't mean that you're really safe, because if they spawn, they'll come in from the edges too. So you should keep that in mind. You don't want it doesn't make any difference if you're in a corner or something like that. So let's talk about the types of zombies. The last game I jotted down a list that I'm gonna put up right now of all the different zombies that I ran into. Let me find it. Okay, so what I'm gonna call them is roughly weak, fast, and strong. Weak, fast, and strong. Okay, the weak ones are there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 different types of zombies, at least that I've found in this game. 9 types. That doesn't mean that they won't be. I assume that they'll be adding different types of zombies, and there may be types of zombies that I haven't run into yet. But I'm always trying to look out for them. So the weak ones are the ones that are really small, really slow. They have a poor attack speed. So the weak ones are going to be they're called the infected decrepit, the infected age, and the infected young. Infected decrepit, infected age, and infected young. They all have 0 armor. Their speed is all 0.4. Their attack range is 0.5. So they actually have to be on top of you before they hit. Their attack damage is 6. So these are the decrepit age, young attack 6. And their attack speed is all 1. 6 times 1. So, and their view range is 5. So those are your stats on the weak. Those are all the weak guys. So they're going really slow, and they basically have to be on top of you before you do damage. Now the next ones are the ones that I call the fast ones, the fast category. There's 3 in the fast category. Excuse me. We got the infected colonists, infected fresh, and infected executive. Now these guys, unlike the 0 armor, they all have 1. They got 1 armor. Their speed is 1.75, so they're moving pretty darn fast. They're going almost. Oh well, wow. The other ones were 0.4 speed. These are 1.7, so we're quadrupling the speed. They're moving pretty darn quick. Okay, their attack range is 0.6, 0.6, and 0.6. So again, these guys have to be on top of you before they're hitting. Attack damage. The attack damage of the colonist is 9. Infected colonist is 9. Infected fresh is 10. And the infected executive is 12. Okay, let's see if we can click on some of these guys right here. Some of these dudes. Okay, so I'm clicking on run infected young. So that's one of the weak ones that I was talking about. 0 armor, 0.4 speed. So this is like a kid or a teenager. Attack range infected, a zombie kid. Attack damage 6-1 and 5 view range. What is this guy? Infected young. What is this guy? Infected decrepit. So they're the weak ones. Infected aged. So there's your 3 types of weak ones: aged, young, and decrepit. Let's see if I can find a fast one anywhere, or one of the other ones. May not find any of those. I'm not seeing any right now. Young, decrepit, aged. Well, you know what? Why not? Well, let's move by. We'll probably see one moving in here really quick. Okay, so you can see that they're starting to move toward me, but they move really slow. Anyway, we get back to the speedy ones. So we got the fresh, the executive, and the colonist. So the one that's best out of that was the 12 damage, and he's wearing a suit. He actually looks. The speeds are 1.11 for the colonist. The fresh is 1.0, and the executive is 1.25. So the executive is a little bit better out of those three. 12 times 1.25. What is that? Well, what's a quarter of 12? That's 4. So he's doing roughly 16 damage per second. The fresh is doing 10 times 1, 10 damage per second. 1.1 times 9, that's, well, roughly 10. So the executive, the one in the black suit, is doing 16 versus 10 damage out of those two. And then we got the final category, the tough ones. I'm going to mention them here. I probably am not going to see them for a while. There are three types that are really, they are really tough. These are your special zombies. We got a chubby, a harpy, and a venom. Okay, the chubby is a fat zombie. He's got a lot of freaking hit points. I think he's got like 400 hit points. By the way, what are the hit points on these guys? 35 out of 30. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Oh, before I was saying I couldn't tell. I wasn't sure how many hit points the guy. That's it. Rangers are 60 out of 60, so she's at full strength. That's where the hit points are located. This guy's 35 out of 35, 35 out of 35. All the weak ones are pretty much 35 out of 35. So now let's get back to the chubby, the harpy, and the venom. The chubby has got a huge amount of damage. He can take, like, I think he can actually take 2 or 3 hits from a sniper before he goes down, if I'm not mistaken. The harpy, wow, harpies are really weird. They are ultra fast. I'll talk about their stats in a minute. Ultra, they can actually jump over walls, which are really weird. And there's the venom. The venom is the ranged. Now, I don't, like I said, they may have other dead units, and they may be with the full version of the game. You know, this is early access. They may add more. I'm assuming that they're going to add more. But the venom actually fires like a poisonous green spray at your guys. So the chubby has got 2 armor. He's got the most armor of everyone. His speed is 1.75, so he's pretty darn quick. He's up there with the speedy guys. He's got an attack range of 0.7. Again, he's got to be on top of you to hit. In fact, all of them have to be on top of you to hit, except for the venom, because it's a range of 5. So the venom can shoot 5 squares. He can actually shoot at your guys on wall or in towers. So back to the chubby, 0.7 attack range, 40 damage, and he's actually not the most damage. Doesn't do the most damage. It is very, very good. 40 damage, 1 attack speed, and a view range of 5. So he's doing 40 times 1 is 40 damage per second if he gets on top of you. Very, very tough, and he takes a lot of damage. So, again, in 2 seconds, actually not even 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds he'll kill a ranger, to put that in perspective, because your ranger has 60. This thing is doing 40 per second, or 20 per half second. So 40 per second plus 20 per half second is 60 damage. That's equal to what your ranger's damage is. So they'll be dead in a half section. Actually, I take that back, because they do have a defense of 1. So it will take about a a micro tick above 1.5 seconds to kill, because it's actually going to do 39, and then the first second, and then 29 the half second, because it's reducing -1 for the defense. But it really isn't going to make any difference. The harpy. Okay, the harpy. The Harpy armor 1, 5 speed, but remember, these guys can jump over freaking walls. They are really tough. The fact that they can jump over walls makes them tough. You want to make sure when you build walls, you have a tower up there with some guys in the tower so they can shoot at them when they start getting to your walls. Because they'll shoot. They will shoot. They will jump over walls. Their attack range is 0.8. Again, the Harpy's got to be on top of you. They do 60 damage. Unbelievable. They're of all the ones I ran into, they do the most damage. So they're charging really quick, and before you know it, they are on top of you doing 60 damage. They are really, really, really tough. You want to watch out for those. I won't be seeing these special units for a while, but they are out there. Even at start, they are out there somewhere. And the Harpy also has an attack speed of 1.67. It's got the highest attack speed of all of them. So let's put that in perspective. 1.67 attack speed times 60 equals 100.2 damage. That is unfreaking believable. It's doing 100.2 damage per second. That's like a sniper. So that's as good as a sniper. At least the sniper has the range on it, though. Like I said, that's unbelievable. That's probably the best unit. And then the last one the best zombie unit. And then the last one is the Venom. So the Venom's got armor 1, 1.75 speed, so it's pretty quick. It's like the other, not like the Harpy fast, but it's like the other ones. Attack range is 5, so it's got a range of 5. And it does 30 attack damage. So it's doing 30 out to 5 hexes. So you want to kill that one quick if you can. If you can. Attack speed is 0.5. It's actually pretty darn slow. So it's doing 30. So what's its effective damage per second? It's doing 30 attack times 0.5. So it's doing 15 damage per second, which is still very, very good. In 2 seconds, it'll do 30, because remember, that's all range attacks. And it's got a view range of 8. So probably the one to most fear is the Harpy. But the Chubby will get up there. I've seen, because they take a lot of damage. That Chubby can take a lot of damage. It's got the 2 armor. I mean, you can't mistake that. It's going to plod forth. Those last waves, I've easily saw dozens of Chubbies, and there's probably 1 for 10 on one. I'm talking probably 1,000 easily on the final. Now I'm just throwing up a number. I obviously couldn't count them, but there were so many that I'm talking thousands of these. There was nothing but a whole ungodly horde of these things, and then I saw probably dozens and dozens of Chubbies in the back. That's how many I saw on these. So when talking they are billions, you are that is really what it does. Of course, we're talking the very late end game waves, and you got stuff to deal with them. Even though I haven't been able to do it, you do have things to deal with it. So those are all the different types of things to worry about. And again, this is a village, so I'm assuming that it's going to spawn to a certain amount. The one thing that kind of sucks is I found the stone piles out here, and it's right next to a village, which is going to mean there's no way I'm going to be able to get. I'm just not going to be able to get this. I can't mine this out this far this way. I'm really going to have to push out. I mean, this is just not viable. Frankly, it is not viable, because this place, you're going to get way too many of these things out here. I'm going to have to figure out. In fact, I'm going to have to go the other direction and figure out how I'm going to cut this off somehow. So let us scout a little bit more. And I know the bell went off, but I want to at least build a couple of buildings. Find my other 2 guys. Where the frick? Okay, they're right here. Let's run these guys up here. Let's take my 2 guys down here, run down here, and I'm going to run my soldier around like this. Let's see what he is. Okay, so now let's unpause it. Pause. Okay, so he ran. They didn't find another place. Let's see how big this let's run him down here. Let's run him down here. And again, okay, we were looking at there may be a narrow path right here between these hills. So let's do that. Let's run it. Unpause. Okay, I think I've actually found cool. We found some goodie huts. Okay, so these are the goodie crates that I was telling you about that are on the map at random. You scout around, you'll find them. I'm going to run into them in a minute, over them and pick them up. But for the time being, let me set these guys first. Okay, so cool. This was not a path. This was actually a what do you call it? A little alcove right here. Wow. Interesting map. How am I? Where am I going to want to get for my first? My mind is working into how I'm going to build, expand, and defend at the same time. Okay, so let's run into these huts and see, and I can show you what's going on. Okay, so let's get the first hut. Okay, it was 110 iron. And what did we get? 10 wood. Okay, we got a little bit. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was good enough. 10 iron and 10 wood. I'm going to actually start building now because it's 8 hours into the game. I need to throw down a couple of buildings. And the first thing I'm going to build is I'm going to build a couple of tents. So we got to look at our layout here. Okay, as you can see, oh, for God's sake, I should have went up this area. My first small group of colonist huts, I'll probably build a block like this. So when you're laying out these huts, you can build them in 2x. For example, I could put one here, and I could put one. I could build a block of 4x4, or even 2x3. I can keep building a line of 2 as far as I can get, but I can't build 3x3. I gotta leave at least one path in the middle for the because all the workers are coming out of these huts. When you build a sawmill, the workers actually come out of the huts to man the sawmill, and then they go to the buildings. So that's kind of how it works. I believe that's how it works. So I want to build like this. Build a line like this going down here. So you can see the range right here of that when I was talking about that energy thing. See right here, I'm going out of the range. Actually, it's not the energy thing. It's the energy start radius of this building. And it goes this far. So if I want to build, in order for me to build out here where it's red down here, I have to build one of those Tesla towers. And I'm going to build, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build, should I build 2? Should I build a line here? How many can I build here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can actually go 4 before it's blocked. And still leave a space right here, right next to the building, for guys to walk around. So let's do that. I'm going to go 1, but I'm going to make them in a line, a 2x2 line. Okay, that's as much as I can build. I'm probably out of food or something. What am I out of? I'm out of gold. Okay, I'm out of gold. But this is how I'm generating my gold now. See, remember the hut generates gold. It's not showing you that information at the moment because it's being built. By the way, one little thing you want to keep in mind: you always want to build things when you're paused. Always build when you're paused, because then you have the option of undoing. See right here, it gives undo. I can remove, and I didn't lose anything. Absolutely didn't lose anything. No, but if I was to destroy a building after it had already started, then you lose all the resources that go into that building. Now, there was one, in one of the videos I watched, one guy said you lose all the resources, and then I watched another video, and he says that some of the resources get recycled back, so I am not 100% sure if they, if when you destroy a building, if some get recycled, or if they don't. I'm not 100%. I'll have to keep that in mind when I actually destroy buildings. I don't like to destroy buildings. Sometimes it's necessary, though. Because, for example, I want to get a more. If I have a huge. If this whole area was full of nothing but these huts, and I wanted to build a bank in order to increase the amount of gold that I'm getting from the huts, I would have to put the bank out here in the side. It would be better to put it in the middle, for example, to get all the gold, get more gold, and it may be worthwhile sacrificing, excuse me, a few huts in order to build like a bank or a marketplace or something, because then you're getting more value per hut than you would otherwise. And it is really something you want to keep in mind. You need a lot of gold. You get a lot of gold in this game, but you really need to get a lot of gold. For example, there's this Gatling gun thing called the Exterminator. It costs $1,200 to build one. They are really expensive, or really powerful. 1,200. To give you some perspective, I'm only getting 200. Remember, it's minus the 7 for my guys. 200 a second. So that gives you got to generate a lot. To get the most powerful units, you need huge amounts of gold, which means you're going to need to build a lot of huts, or if you'll get lucky, finding a gold mine. But the gold mines really don't give you as much gold as you would like. It's not like 1,000 gold. It's more like 40, 50, 60, depending on how you build the quarry. Okay, so let's look at our other resource-generating buildings. So what do I want? Well, I don't have enough gold. I'm completely out of gold. What I would like to do is I would like to start with, me personally, I like to get some wood up really quick, because this wood goes, you need wood for just about everything. Really important. Wood, but also stone is you need stone in order to build that, first of all, to build the military center, and you also need stone to build the buildings, some of those advanced buildings. So they're really important to get as much stone as you can. And that's the one thing that's really starting to suck with this map, is I'm not seeing any stone. I got a stone pile out here. We got iron, but it's really close to the infected. Even that I'm not sure if I'm going to get. Wow. So I need to find another nearby stone pile. I'm hoping that there's one up here. I mean, I'm kind of seeing something right here. I'm hoping that is a stone pile, because if I don't, I'm going to be in big trouble if I don't find some stones quick. So let's send him up here. Let's see if I can find, send him up here. Where were my other group of two? Okay, they're flanking around to the south. Let's get them to go this way. Okay, so let's do it. Let's run it, unpause it. Okay, so I now pause. I put it back on pause. So where's my soldier? I'm going to slowly move my soldier, work his way back, and I'm going to get these guys to flank around this mountain, see if it's flankable from up here. And I'm going to get these two guys to go down here and see how this... I don't know, this might be a defensible spot. If this goes... That would actually be very good to defend my southern border, because this is actually blocked off here. Very cool. And so is this. Okay, I'm not seeing a whole lot of stone, but I am seeing a very good defensible front. You see this? There is no... Sometimes you got to look really closely at this, because sometimes on these openings right here, there'll be an opening, but there isn't. I can just tell that it's blocked off. That is good. So I will be able to expand down, do a lot of building down here, and very easily be able to defend some hordes. What I'm thinking of, building a wall perhaps from here to here, and from here to here, something like that, eventually. So that would be really nice. So let's move these guys around here. Let's move my soldier up here. And again, I want these guys to flank around. Oh my God, there's another goodie box. Let's go get the goodie box. Cool beans. All right. We got several goodie boxes. So I hit the pause. I like that. Sometimes you get lucky like that. Usually I don't find that many goodie boxes, but on the other hand, I usually find more stone on my initial areas, which really sucks. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a stone pile right here, but one, I mean, give me a break. That is not worth... I mean, the cost to build a quarry there is not worth the one stone I'm going to get Um, okay, so let's get these guys to run in the stone pile. What did we get? Okay, what did we get? We got 10 wood, 10 wood, 10 wood, and 500 gold. All right, we got a little bit of a jackpot there. Cool, so now I can start building some more buildings now with that. I like that. That is very nice. That's one of the nice things about scouting around a bit. Of course, I'm going to get my soldier over here now because I want to make sure that there's... Remember, there are some of these guys are wandering around in singles. I mean, there very well could be somebody just plop into here. So I want to make sure I get my soldier over here before too long. So again, let's go to our resource buildings that I am going to build. See, they're now not grayed out anymore. I can now build them. I am going to build a quarry. This building next to a sea... Oh, what am I thinking? Wrong building. Wrong building. Sorry. Sawmill. Okay, so how does the sawmill work? It depends on how many woods are in your zone. Gosh, I want to say, is it 1 per woods? 1, 2... I can't... I am not sure how many you get, but anything that's like 12... I would really want to get double digits. So I'm just kind of garing around. In some cases, you may be able to build 2 sawmills in this place. If I build one over here, I might be able to build another one over here later on. So I kind of look at that. I kind of like to get a like one over here. One over here, say later on, another one over here. Even here, what do we got? 7. I'm not getting a whole lot of wood if I build it over here. It would be better to build it here. Much better. Well, that looks like it's going to be the best place I could build it, isn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's put it right here. I'm going to put one here. If I'm really lucky, I might be able to build 3. Later on, maybe I can build another one here, down here. Right now, I can't because it's outside of my energy range. So, in order for me to expand, I need to think about putting some of those Tesla. Remember, I was telling you about these things right here. As a matter of fact, I should probably build one. Where would be the most logical place would be over here. Because if I can put some fisher huts down here, fisherman huts, and get some more food, and also maybe put another sawmill down here. And then the only thing I really need to get finding is the doggone stone. So let's put a Tesla. So if you look, you can see the square. It's really light. It's showing the radius of where I can build and where I'm not. I have to put the building within my radius. So right now it's in the radius, and you can see where it's expanding. So again, this is the energy buildings that you have to build that give you your building radius, where you can build other buildings. So that's why this is important, and you will have to build lots of these everywhere. Do I go down this far? Do I go further up here? Think about that. I can push that radius further north, further south. It would probably make sense to build one right about here because I want to leave. In order to build another sawmill, I might need a block of 2. So I couldn't go any closer to the woods than that. I think we'll go there, put it right there. Okay, so the only other building I may be thinking about, by the way, what I did is I right-clicked and it'll go back to this menu. By the way, let's take one more look at the resources and look at Hunter College because I want to get a food. I need to start getting some food intake. My food intake is going to be getting low, and in order for me to get more workers, I need food. Okay, so like I said, the food is better. It's best on woods. It's really bad in these Scrabble areas. So down here, I can actually we get 9 here. That's because it's on plains. The second best are plains. and the best are actually in the woods, and the worst is out here. See, if I put one out here, it's only 5. If I put one up here in the plains, it's actually almost doubled. I'm talking 10 or 11, and the best is down here in the. It's both plains and woods, so that would actually be the ultimate best spot. But again, is it possible to get 2? It's not going to let me build. I could build one over here with 13, 14 right here. See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I pull one over this side and I get another one on this side, because it doesn't let you overlap the buildings of the same type. For example, I can't put another hunter lodge within the radius of this thing. So if I set it up right, I might be able to actually get 3. I don't know. I'm thinking optimally. If I get one over here, maybe one here, and maybe one down here, would be really nice. So that's what I'm trying to do. Maximize the amount of food that I can get from the smallest area is what I'm trying to do. And again, that's efficiency. That's what this game, that's kind of at the heart of this game, is really efficiency. It's a tower defense, but it's also efficiency. You want to get the most out of your available space, because you need to get a lot of gold to be able to be. Because again, smaller space. Number 1, easier to defend with walls. Number 2, if you can get your warehouses and bank maximally over getting the most out of every building in a smaller space, you can make more for the fewest buildings, if you know what I mean. So there's a couple of good reasons, and again, you need more of that gold for the late game units, which are really freaking expensive. So let's plop this down here, and I believe I'm out of gold. I still have 40 left. That's great. I could actually still build another one. Cool, and I really can. Check this out. Again, 15. Looks like 15 is about the best. What if I go here? 14, 14, 14, 16 right here. So I'm going to try to build one here, and again, I will try to build one over here. Not enough resources. So I'm out of resources now. What exactly am I lacking? Gold. Okay, I ran out of gold, but I could probably build a 3rd hunter's hut down here. Actually could, and that would be really good. I could actually get 3 food gathering resources from this same woods, and hopefully another sawmill if I'm lucky. That would be really good in maximizing my efficiency, because that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so that I better call this episode. I'm sure that it went over an hour. Again, I spent a lot of time talking. I do a lot of tutorials, so let's do that. Let me get back to the Alt. Oh God, I want to hit Alt Enter. It is not Alt Enter in this game. I actually have to go in the menu. I have to go in the game menu to get the Winnowise mode. So we're going to the Alt menu. I'm going to Options. I'm going to option. Controls. Okay. Again, where are the game options? Oh, that wasn't the Okay, the graphics was the Winnowise mode, but I'm looking for the other. Oh, here's your save and exit. That's what I was looking for. Options. Okay, the save screen is actually out here. I keep thinking it's going to be within the controls area. So let's go to graphics, and I'm going to put it on window mode, and we're going to apply. And it's going to restart, but it will save because I tested it. It will save and restart, and it will be back in window mode. So now we exit the game, and it will directly restart here. It should restart. Okay, here it is. It's restarted. Okay, it takes a little while to restart. It is restarting. Okay. Probably Winnowise. I think it goes a little bit faster when you're not in Winnowise mode. Okay. So we're on the that screen, the start screen. So I'm going to get back to my OBS. Okay, so this is and I'm going to end it there. This is Corporal Kindel signing off for episode 1 of They Are Billions, and we are fighting the zombie menace. Again, this game it's on sale on Steam for, I think until January 4th, so there's still a few more days. It's the 30th right now. So for those of you, I got it for $22 and instead of $24. It's an unbelievably cool game. Highly recommend it. And I'm going to stop there. Corporal Kindle signing off for episode 1. And for God's sake, I always want to look at the date. The date. I did not look at the date. This time it's going to be in days and hours. I believe I'm roughly around hour 10, 12, something like that of day 1. So we are going to stop there. Hope everybody has a great day. Take it easy, and I will see you directly. Bye.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor?